One American News, and as many of you know, former Navy intelligence officer. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. So today, I don't know if you guys all saw this, but there is a massive situation that's brewing out in Guam, where a Navy aircraft carrier, the Theodore Roosevelt, is experiencing an outbreak of coronavirus. Situation is grim because over 100 sailors they've identified as having the coronavirus. But the problem is they were testing people already to send them out. They were testing people already to send them out if they tested negative. But the problem is over 20% of the ones that were allowed off the ship have now tested positive for coronavirus. So their tests were not doing well. Now, here's the problem. For any of you who haven't been on a Navy ship before, if you've ever been on an aircraft carrier, the orders they were given were to quarantine in place on the ship. Does anyone understand the issue with that? An aircraft carrier has 5,000 people on it. They're called floating cities. On an aircraft carrier, the way they're currently designed within the United States Navy, there is no effective way to quarantine yourself from anything. Look, folks, if you've been on a ship before, you know how it goes, right? Somebody gets something within a minute, within a week or so, everybody's got it when it's a contagious disease. And that's just talking about the flu, cough, etc. Everybody's always sharing them. Why is that? Communal living quarters, communal spaces, communal everything. So communal, when you're eating in the galley or the mess room for the wardroom for officers or the chief's mess, right, etc. You're constantly surrounded by people. There's no way to social distance. You are stuck in there. However, because I have served in Guam a couple of times, I actually know what the answer to this is. So for once, or for this time right now, I can actually provide the specific answer to how to fix this. Because if you just allow people onto Naval Base Guam from that ship, if you just allow people out into the public in Guam, you're also going to create problems because they can't tell who has it and who doesn't. So what you've got to do is understand this. There are 2 military bases on Guam. There's the naval base in the south near Santa Rita, and on the north of Guam, there's Air Force Air Base Andersen. You've got to let them go up to Andersen Air Force Base and then use the big Air Force hangars up there and reposition one as a quarantine space for these sailors. You absolutely need to use one of those ones as a quarantine space for the sailors. There is, believe it or not, it wasn't in a medical capacity, but there is precedent for this because if you go back to the Gulf War, the 1990s, Kurdish refugees from Iraq were actually sent to Guam, to Andersen Air Force Base, and specifically housed in one of the hangars there where they could be then processed. Okay, this has already been done before, and it's got to be done quickly so that not everybody on that aircraft carrier is going to be, oh wow, Kurd was actually there. No way. Apparently, I know someone who was there. I had no idea actually. So I'll get with you after this. We need this to happen absolutely right now. So get this message to Donald Trump, get this message to the Secretary of the Navy, get the Department of Defense working on this. We're going to need some joint help from our Air Force buddies and the United States Navy. This can be done. This can absolutely be done. The Director of Defense, the Secretary of Defense will be able to do this. Excuse me, I'm tripping. I'm getting my titles wrong, so I'm a little fired up right now. The Secretary of Defense can authorize this from his office on down. This problem can be solved before we get to an issue where 5,000 American troops are infected with this thing. Because here's the issue, folks. Here's the issue. If those guys get that, we've already got a carrier that's essentially neutralized in the Pacific, okay? So just understand that. Now you might have a situation where 5,000 sailors are at risk. They're at risk of this thing. And who knows what's going to happen to them? Who knows what it's going to do to our military readiness? Who knows what it's going to do in terms of our force posture in the Pacific? Not good. Not good. Get them to Anderson. Get them the quarantine they need. Get good tests out so they can figure out what's going on. Do not allow this to happen to our Navy sailors. And if anyone does have or has tested positive, get them the treatment they need immediately. Immediately. Fortunately, they do have good hospitals in Guam. They've got good care out there. But please, and I'm going to send this to the Secretary of the Navy. I'm going to send this to everybody I know in the White House. There's actually an easy fix on this, but we need our brothers in the United States Air Force to help out the United States Navy to be able to get everyone involved so that this situation can be dealt with safely, the situation can be dealt with securely, and so that our sailors are not put in harm's way for 1 minute longer. All right? If you can contact, actually,